Relax now, and feel the soft weight of your body sink into the bed beneath you. Breathe in slowly, and breathe out, as if the night itself is exhaling with you. Let your shoulders fall. Let your jaw unclench. Let the room's quiet settle around you like a gentle cloak. Brief note. This script is written using gentle, progressive relaxation, guided imagery, and metaphor-rich, Ericksonian-style pacing to help the mind and body unwind. These techniques are commonly used in sleeping guided imagery scripts to deepen, calm, and invite sleep. Our story today begins at a small stone cottage on the edge of a sleeping village where the moon hangs like a quiet coin above the hills. The air outside tastes of damp earth and lavender. Inside, a single candle warms the room with its slow amber breath. In the corner sits an alchemist, not a blustering magician, but a soft-handed keeper of herbs and small comforts. He moves slowly, each motion deliberate and kind, as if he is tucking the night in. Listen to the sound of his wooden chair as he eases down a tiny, contented creak. Match your breathing to that tiny creak. In, and out. Notice how your body answers to this rhythm. Let your scalp loosen, let your forehead smooth, and feel a pleasant slackness around your eyes. With each exhale, imagine a thread of tension untying itself and drifting away like a leaf on a very calm stream. The alchemist reaches for a small tin of chamomile petals, their edges pale as moth wings. He measures with careful hands, the way someone who loves slow things might measure. Not hurriedly, but with a steady kindness. As you imagine his fingers, allow the muscles behind your eyes to soften. Let the small hairs on your arms relax. Each tiny release is enough. No need for big changes, only the small, reassuring loosening that invites sleep. He pours water into a copper kettle. Hear the water say, "Henle, poorly, soft clink as the metal meets wood." The kettle takes a moment to answer. A soft rising of steam that curls like tiny, sleepy clouds. Visualize the steam spiraling up, and with it your little worries. Names, small tasks, the day's sharp edges. Carried gently away until they become pale as mist. Breathe in the imagined warmth of that steam, and breathe out, letting your shoulders soften a millimeter more. All right, let's drift a little deeper now. You've already begun to let go, but there's still more ease to be found. The kind that seeps in slowly. The way a quiet dawn enters a room before you even notice it's there. Our story continues in that same stone cottage. Hours later, the candle has burned low. Its light softer now, pooling like melted gold across the table. Outside, the night has deepened, and the village lies in a peaceful hush. You can almost hear the slow breathing of sleeping houses, the faint creak of timbers, the muted sigh of thatched roofs settling into the cool air. The alchemist, still awake, has moved to the window. His hand rests on the worn sill, fingertips brushing the smooth grooves left by years of leaning there to watch the stars. Tonight, the constellations are unusually sharp, the sky as clear as polished glass. And perhaps, in your imagination, you can see them too. Pick one star. Let your mind rest there for a moment. Imagine its tiny pulse. Not hurried, not insistent, just quietly shining. As you hold that image, your own breath becomes as steady as that star's light. In and out. From somewhere in the distance, an owl calls once, its voice low and round. The sound drifts through the trees, down to lane, and into the cottage like a visiting friend. The alchemist smiles at it, the corners of his mouth moving just slightly. He knows the owl well. It lives in the hollow of the old oak, near the riverbank. If you like, you can imagine walking toward that oak, barefoot on the cool, soft earth. Each step is slow. The ground feels steady and safe beneath you. The night air carries scents of damp moss and distant wood smoke. Every time you breathe in, that coolness curls into your chest and loosens something you didn't know was tight. Every time you breathe out, the warmth of your body meets the night, blending with it until you feel part of the stillness. The alchemist Esteval still holds the remains of the tea. The cup now empty but warm to the touch. He turns it slowly in his hands, feeling the shape of the clay. The way potters have done for centuries in small medieval villages like this one. You might imagine your own hands around that cup. Its surface smooth in some places, faintly ridged in others. That texture is an anchor, the kind that keeps you here, in this moment, safe. In medieval times, villagers believed that holding something warm at night would draw good dreams toward you, as if the heat itself was a lantern for the spirit. Picture that warmth now held close to your chest. Feel it glow into your skin, deeper into your muscles, then into your bones. With each passing second, the glow spreads further until your entire body is bathed in a kind, golden stillness. Outside, the owl calls again, but this time it feels further away, as though your mind has already begun drifting toward another place. And that's all right. You don't have to follow the story exactly now. You can let it become softer, less defined, like watercolors spreading gently through paper. The details blur, but the feeling remains. Somewhere in that gentle blur, the alchemist steps outside into the moonlight. His boots make no sound on the dirt path. He carries with him a small satchel filled with herbs, rosemary for remembrance, lavender for rest, and a pinch of valerian root for dreams that last until morning. As he walks, the scent of the herbs mingles with the scent of the night air. creating a perfume that feels almost like a lullaby. You might imagine that scent now drifting into your own breathing. Let it linger there, weaving between your inhale and exhale. It's a scent without edges, one that seems to stretch time itself. Up ahead, the lane curves toward the sleeping heart of the village. A few shuttered windows still hold the faintest glow of candlelight. Cats curled on doorsteps, their tails twitching in slow, dreamlike patterns. Somewhere, a door swings gently on its hinges, moved only by the lightest of breezes. The alchemist passes by, his steps unhurried. He is nowhere he must be, and neither do you. Here, in this place, there is no clock. There is no schedule. There is only the quiet companionship of night, the stars above, and the steady, grounding rhythm of your own breath. And as the lane narrows, as shadows fold themselves a little closer, the alchemist begins to hum that same tune again. Low, warm, and familiar. Perhaps you notice it's been playing softly in the background of your mind all along. That's all you need to do now. Let the hum carry you. Let it be the bridge between this waking story and whatever dreams may come.
All right. Let's drift further still. You're already floating in that soft space between here and dreams. But the path winds on, and every step takes you deeper into the quiet. The alchemist follows the curve of the lane until it opens into the village square. By day, this place hums with voices. Traders calling their wares. Children chasing each other between the fountain and the baker's stall. But now, under the silver watch of the moon, the square is hushed. The stone well in the center gleams faintly, its bucket resting still, rope slack, as if it too has gone to sleep. He pauses at the fountain's edge. The water moves so slowly, it is hard to tell if it is moving at all. A glassy surface touched only by the softest ripples. Imagine leaning over that water, seeing your reflection blurred by the night. Maybe your reflection looks calmer here, its eyes half closed, its mouth curved into the faintest smile. Stay with that image for a breath or two. Let it become the way you feel from the inside. Around the square, medieval timbered houses stand like quiet guardians. Their beams are dark with age, their windows glinting faintly in the candlelight within. The scent of baking bread still lingers from earlier, mixed now with the cooler scent of night flowers that grow in small boxers beneath the windows. Breathe that in. Warm grain and soft petals, grounded and delicate at the same time. The alchemist steps past, a cart draped with cloth. Beneath it, you notice the faint shape of baskets, each one filled with herbs gathered earlier that day. You can almost imagine the scent rising from them. Thyme, sage, sweet marjoram, and how those scents mingle gently with the lavender sprigs still tucked in your mind. Each breath is now a blend of earth and meadow, old wood and moonlight. At the far end of the square, a small chapel stands, its bells silent. The heavy wooden door is closed, but light glows faintly from the cracks around it. The alchemist doesn't enter. He simply stands nearby, resting his hand against the old stone wall. You can imagine the coolness of that stone under your fingertips, the faint texture of weathered grooves. There's something steadying about it, something that reminds you of time's slower rhythm. And as you picture that stone, let that same slow rhythm spread through you. Feel it in your chest, your arms, your hands, in your back, your hips, your legs. A sense that nothing must hurry, because everything here moves at the pace of the moon and the turning of seasons. Somewhere down a narrow alley, a cat pads softly across cobblestones, tail curling high before disappearing into the shadows. A shutter closes gently. The hum of the alchemist's tune drifts across the square like a shawl laid over the shoulders of the night. If you listen closely, you might hear another layer beneath the hum. the faint rush of wind high above the rooftops, brushing against the thatch and the weathered tiles. That sound is wide and open, yet so far away that it feels like it belongs to another world. One you're already drifting toward. The alchemist makes his way to a bench beneath a spreading lime tree. Its branches move only slightly, the leaves catching just enough light to shimmer faintly. He sits, setting his satchel beside him. From it, he takes out a small vial, no larger than his thumb, filled with a pale blue liquid that seems to hold its own light. He doesn't open it yet. He simply watches it, as if the liquid's glow is another kind of fire, one meant not for warmth, but for guiding dreams. You can imagine that glow now, resting in your own hands. Feel the cool glass against your palms. See how the light inside moves slowly, spiraling, each turn softer than the last. The village sleeps on. Somewhere, the owl calls again, but it's faint now, almost as though the sound has drifted into a dream of its own. The air is so still that even the smallest motions, a leaf tilting, a rope swaying at the well, feel deliberate and meaningful. The alchemist leans back, his eyes half-lidded, and begins to breathe in perfect time with the night around him. You can join him. Let your breath be deep but unforced. In and out. In and out. Each inhale gathers the cool stillness of the square. Each exhale releases what's left of the day. If you like, imagine the blue light from the vial seeping gently into you. Not to wake you, but to soften you further. It travels slowly, the way honey moves in a jar, tilted just slightly. It pulls in your chest, spreads to your shoulders, down your arms, into your hands. Then, it moves to your spine, melting down vertebra by vertebra until it reaches your legs, and finally your feet. Now, your whole body glows faintly in that same quiet, dreamlike hue. The square fades a little at the edges now, the details blurring as your mind settles further inward. The well, the fountain, the chapel, they're still there, but they're soft now, like distant shapes seen through morning mist. And at the center of it all, you, breathing slowly, deeply, safely.
All right, let's go even deeper now. You're safe here in the quiet folds of this night. Your breath knows the way, and the story is just a soft current carrying you forward. The alchemist rises slowly from the bench, the pale blue vial still in his hand. This satchel rests at his side, the herbs within shifting just slightly as he lifts it. His boots make the gentlest sound on the cobblestones as he leaves the square behind, moving toward a narrow lane that leads out of the village. The lane is lined with low stone walls, their tops crowned with tufts of moss and wildflowers. You can picture your fingertips brushing over the moss as you walk beside him, its surface springy and cool, a little cushion of earth's patience. Above, the moonlight stretches in soft ribbons through the leaves, tracing silver paths that guide your steps. The houses thin out, their windows dark now, until only fields lie on either side. Some are fallow, resting under the night, while others are lined with neat rows of winter greens. The smell here is fresh and open. Soil, grass, and that faint sweetness that comes when dew begins to gather. With each inhale, the air seems to open you a little more from the inside, as though there's endless room to breathe. A gentle breeze stirs. It's not cold, just cool enough to lift a strand of hair to brush your cheek in passing. The alchemist pauses for a moment, tilting his head as though listening. You listen to somewhere far away. A stream murmurs over stones, the sounds smooth and even. It's a sound without urgency, one that could go on forever without changing. Like the quiet beat of your own heart as you drift, the land stirs, and ahead you see a wooden gate. It's slow enough to step over, but the alchemist opens it with care, the latch making a soft click. Beyond it lies a meadow, pale in the moonlight. The grass sways in slow waves, catching the silver light until it looks like a low, rolling sea. Stepped into that meadow with him. Feel the earth beneath your feet, firm and grounding, and the grass brushing gently at your ankles. The air here smells faintly of chamomile, growing wild at the meadow's edges. The alchemist's satchel rustles as he walks, the dried herbs inside whispering together in quiet conversation. In the center of the meadow stands an ancient standing stone. Its surface covered in soft lichen and faint carvings worn by centuries. In medieval times, stones like these were often seen as markers of seasons, of boundaries, or even of dreams. The alchemist approaches it with reverence, setting the blue vial at its base. He kneels, pressing his palm to the stone, and for a moment you can imagine the pulse of the earth itself beneath your hand. It's slow, steady, and deep. A rhythm so vast it feels like it's always been here. As you match your breath to that rhythm, your body grows heavier in the most pleasant way, as though gravity itself is holding you gently in place. The grass around the stone sways more slowly now, as if the whole meadow is caught in the same deep breath you are. The alchemist closes his eyes, and the night seems to lean in closer. A soft hum begins again. Not the earlier tune from the village, but a lower, more resonant sound. It feels as though it's coming from the stone itself. You might imagine lying down here, the grass folding softly beneath you. The ground is cool, but the coolness is welcome, drawing away any leftover heat or tension. Above, the stars spread endlessly, their light sharp yet soothing, each one like a tiny pinprick in a vast, dark quilt. The alchemist opens. The blue light inside spills upward, not in a flash, but in a slow unfurling, a ribbon of color rising into the air, curling like smoke. It drifts higher, breaking into smaller threads that weave themselves among the stars. You follow them with your eyes until they vanish into the night. The scent that rises from the open vial is subtle, a blend of lavender, honey, and something you can't quite name. It's the kind of scent you've noticed once, then carry in your memory forever. As you breathe it in, you feel your mind softening, your thoughts untangling into longer, slower lines until they dissolve altogether. The alchemist sits beside the stone now, the empty vial resting in his lap. He gazes toward the meadow's far edge, where a faint mist has begun to gather. You can picture that mist low to the ground, curling and shifting, as though it's thinking about crossing the meadow to meet you. Perhaps it will. Perhaps it will stay. It doesn't matter. You're in no hurry to find out. The hum from the stone fades into silence, but the silence is full. It's the kind of quiet that carries the memory of sound, the way a bell still seems to vibrate in your bones long after it stopped ringing. You stay in that choir for a while, letting it hold you until you know your breath again and out. Each inhale draws in the cool meadow air. Each exhale sends a little more of the day away. Your body feels heavier now. Not with weariness, but with comfort, as though every muscle has agreed to rest without question. In the distance, the first light of moonrise touches the tops of the far hills. The mist at the meadow's edge begins to drift closer, its shapes loose and shifting. The alchemist watches it, as though he's greeting an old friend. You can feel its calm from here. The way it steadies the air, the way it seems to wrap around both of you. Like a second night. Somewhere, a nightingale begins to sing. The notes are slow, unhurried, each one floating just long enough to dissolve before the next appears. And between those notes, today's space wide, soft space, just for you to rest in. The alchemist leans back against the standing stone, his eyes closing again. You may do the same now, letting the stars above and the earth below me in the space where you rest. Nothing here asks for your attention. Everything here simply lets you be, and as your mind drifts toward that softer, dimmer edge of waking, the story doesn't end, it just becomes quieter, gentler, until it feels less like a story and more like a dream you've already begun. All right? Settle a little deeper into the quiet now. Your breath is steady, the air around you still and soft. We're going to let the night draw you further in, not with force, but like a tide that slowly, gently raises until you are floating without effort. The mist at the meadow's edge moves closer, its shape shifting and folding in on themselves. At first, it's nothing more than pale silver rolling low over the grass. But as it nears, it takes on a faint glow, the kind that comes from moonlight caught in water. You notice how it moves without touching the ground, hovering just an inch above it, as though it is being carried on a hidden breeze. The alchemist watches quietly, his breathing slow. He doesn't move, not because of fear, but because he understands that the mist moves at its own pace, and that meeting it is not a matter of reaching out, but of allowing it to arrive. When it comes close enough, you see that the mist is not formless at all. Within it are countless tiny threads of light, weaving together and apart like a loom worked by invisible hands. The motion is hypnotic, slow spirals, gentle crossings, no beginning, no end. The more you look, the more the rhythm of their weaving begins to match your own breath. In, and the threads draw together. Out, and they drift apart. Again, and again, until your body has forgotten where your edges are. You are simply part of the same slow weaving. The alchemist leans forward just slightly, and the mist begins to wrap around him, not obscuring him, but joining him. He seems more a part of it now, the threads of light settling along his shoulders, his hands, even his hair. You feel no danger here, only a deepening stillness. The kind that makes you realize how much noise you had been carrying without knowing it. The mist turns toward you, or maybe you turn toward it. It's hard to tell. It brushes against your skin with a coolness so fine. It's almost like a memory of coolness rather than the sensation itself. And as it settles over you, you find that its weight is nothing at all. Instead, it feels like being wrapped in something that understands you completely. The meadow fades at the edge. The standing stone is still behind you. The alchemist still before you. But beyond that, the horizon is dissolving into the mist. 8 spaceships begin to form. Tall, arching doorways of stone. Their surfaces covered in ivy. They seem to rise not from the earth, but from the mist itself, like thoughts slowly taking shape in the mind. The alchemist steps toward the nearest archway, and you follow without quest. Your steps make no sound now, and the grass is no longer beneath your feet. The ground here feels softer, like walking across layers of wool. Each step seems to sink slightly before lifting again, as though you're walking on a surface that understands your pace and carries you forward. Beyond the archway is a narrow path lit by a row of lanterns. They are not modern lanterns. No glass, no metal. Instead, they are made from woven reeds, each holding a small, contained flame that flickers but never bends in the wind. The light they give is golden and warm, casting long, soft shadows on the path. The air here has changed. It's warmer now, holding the faint scent of spiced honey and cedarwood. You feel it in your lungs, not just as a scent, but as a presence that seems to encourage each breath to go deeper, to last longer. The path curves gently, and you notice that there's no rush here. You could walk it forever without reaching the end, and that would be perfectly fine. The alchemist's pace is steady, not fast, not slow. Just the natural rhythm of someone who knows that arrival is not the goal. As you walk, the mist remains around you, but it's lighter now, more a soft halo than a blanket. The threads of light within it still weave, but now they weave into the shapes of small, flickering creatures. Birds, perhaps, or moths that dart gently ahead before dissolving into the air. At last, the path opens into a small courtyard. Its walls are of old stone, rounded at the edges, from centuries of wind and rain. In the center stands a fountain, its water so still it looks like glass. The surface reflects the lantern light above, creating the illusion of a second, upside-down world beneath it. The alchemist kneels by the fountain, dipping his hands into the wall. He doesn't drink, but instead lets the water run over his fingers as if greeting an old friend. Then he gestures for you to do the same. You lean forward, your fingertips touching the surface. The water is cooler than the air. A clean, perfect coolness that travels up your arms, across your shoulders, and into your chest. It feels as though the water has found the last remnants of wakefulness within you, and is gently carrying them away. When you lift your hands, the droplets on your skin shimmer faintly, catching light that seems to come from nowhere. You don't shake them off. You let them stay, their glow sinking slowly into you until you can no longer tell where the light ends, and you begin. The alchemist rises again, his saccia now close to Biolgone. He looks toward a small wooden door in the courtyard wall. It's slightly ajar, and beyond it you can see only more mist. The door swings open with the lightest touch, and as you step through, you find yourself back in the meadow. The standing stone is there, the grass still swaying, but the village is nowhere in sight. The stars overhead are brighter than before. So bright they seem, closer, as though you could reach up and move them gently with your hand. The mist is fading now, but you'll feel it has left something with you. A sense of being gently held, even when nothing is touching you. The alchemist smiles faintly. And though no words are spoken, you understand it is time to rest here. You lie back in the grass, the earth perfectly supporting you. The sky above is endless, the night warm around you, and your breath slow, even, unbroken, carries you into that quiet place where waking ends and dreaming begins. All right, let's sink into that deepest place now. There's no rush. Each moment here stretches wide and unheard, as if the world beyond this dream has completely forgotten the clock. The garden still holds you, its moss soft beneath your body. But something begins to shift, not with movement, but with a change in the air. The golden haze that is wrapped around you like a blanket now begins to thin, and in its place comes a cooler, darker breath. It feels like the night itself has leaned in close. The flames inside the hanging glass orbs fade one by one, as if politely dimming to let the stars take over. Unfar over through gaps in the leaves you hadn't noticed before. A scatter of starlight pours down, clearer than any you've seen in waking life. They shimmer not as distant points, but as if they are right here, close enough to touch. You lift your gaze, and the garden begins to dissolve. Not in pieces, but all at once. Its shapes melting into the dark. Its scents blending into the cool air until you are lying on the shore of a vast, still sea. The water is black velvet, but strewn with reflections of the stars. Not jagged like on wind-tossed water, but perfectly steady, as though the sea and the sky have quietly agreed to mirror one another. There is no horizon here. Sea and sky simply fold into each other, and you, here at the edge, are held between them. The sand beneath you is fine as sifted flour, and when you let your fingers trail through it, it makes no sound. It is cool, but the coolness is soothing, slipping into your skin and loosening anything still tense. The only sound is the slow lap of water at the shore. A rhythm so unhurried, it feels more like breathing than waves. You'll find yourself matching it without thinking. Inhale with the inward pull of the tide. Exhale with its soft retreat. Again and again, until you're no longer sure which breath is yours and which belongs to the sea. From afar out on the water, a light appears. At first it's no more than a glimmer, like a candle in the distance. But it grows slowly, gently, until you see it's a small boat drifting toward you without an oar or sail. The boat's hull is carved from pale wood, its surface etched with flowing lines that resemble currents and constellations. At its bow hangs a lantern, but instead of a flame, it holds a single star. Its glow soft and somehow When the boat reaches the shore, you see there is no one inside. It has come for you, and only you. You step into it, and the moment you sit down, the boat begins to move. Not forward, not back, but outward, away from the shore, deeper into the mirrored stillness. The water makes no splash. The movement is so smooth you might as well be gliding through air. The lanterns. Stal hums faintly, a note so low and steady that it seems to echo in your chest. Every time you breathe in, the glow brightens just a little. Every time you breathe out, it softens as though matching you perfectly. You pass beneath constellations you've never seen before. Vast shapes traced in silver light. Some are of creatures you recognize from old stories. A stag with antlers branching into stars. A fish whose tail curls into a spiral galaxy. Others are more abstract. Swirls, arcs, and flowing knots that seem to shift if you look at them too long. They feel less like pictures to be understood, or more like memories you had forgotten were yours. With each one you pass, something inside you eases a little more, like untying a ribbon that has been holding you too tight. At some point you notice the sea beneath you is becoming lighter. Not from moon or starlight, but from something deep below the surface. It's as if the water itself is lit from within. Shapes begin to form there. Slow-moving clouds of blue and green light, like the northern lights turned liquid. They pulse in time with the boat's movement and with your own breath. It's impossible to tell how long you drift like this. Here, time has no sharp edges. There's only the soft, endless present. Eventually, the boat begins to slow. It turns on its own, gliding toward a cluster of small islands, each one crowned with a ring of glowing stones. The stones emit a warm light, not bright, but deep, as if they've been absorbing sunlight for 1,000 years, and are now letting it go draw by draw. The boat stops at the smallest island, and you step onto sand that feels warmer than the night air. The stones here form a perfect circle, and in the center is a pool of water so still you might think it's glass. When you kneel beside it, you see your reflection, but softer, as though the water is showing you not just how you are, but how you could be. If every care were set down, if every worry were allowed to drift away, you stay there a while, watching the reflection breathe with you. The pool's surface never ripples, and slowly your eyelids grow heavier and heavier until you close them completely. The sand beneath you warm. The faint hum of the lantern's star still seems to echo somewhere close. The waves, though distant now, still follow their gentle rhythm. And as you sink into that warmth, that sound, that breath, you realize you're already far deeper than you have ever been before.